start the recording. Hello YouTube, welcome to another development stream for Fireside. And yeah, as always, we will be working on some game development for our title. But today we will also be working on some game design, some actual nitty-gritty game design. It's something which is, quite rare, I think, on Twitch and on YouTube. I don't think you get that many game design streams because it's also like the work you do is not as common, I'd say. In a project, not the most hours go on to the actual design of the game, but the most hours go into programming, asset creation, basically. But today we're gonna do some actual real game design and balancing. I've already got my Microsoft Excel here. And as you might see, we really don't have anything yet. Like, this project has basically zero game design still. If you've been following the project, then you probably know that we're still pretty much at the beginning with the prototype production. And yeah, we're gonna try to make a balancing table for our items and for our just economy in general, tying it back to the central resource, which is players' soul energy. Yeah, and for that we also will need, got some items here, we will also need some, where is it? Oh, and also I should probably post some info in our Discord that this stream is happening. The dev stream this week is about game development, game design. Alrighty. So what did I want to check? I wanted to start my timer, of course. Always track your time. It's very important because that way you can, check if you're working efficiently, basically. I'm gonna make a new new task quest. I'm gonna assign it to myself, and I'm going to choose a epic task, which would be this graphics. Let's just put it in. I'm gonna just put it in here and start the timer and add a project. Fireside. Great. Okay, so we want to make a balancing table. That's what we want to do today. And okay, sorry, I'm just completely blanking. Okay, I did implement this. Maybe I'm gonna actually post it also to a different channel. Okay, so let's get started. So basically what we need, and now I remember why I opened up Notion, is our game design document. Because obviously already some game design has happened. And what I really want to know is, as a space starting point, was this here, right? So we were saying generally, okay, we've got 100 soul energy to begin with, and we really want to achieve, this is what I want to know, right? For beginning the game, you should sort of KO after 4 to 5 stops on your journey is when the journey should be over, and you should go back to the beginning and start over again. And by the end of the game, we want like around 10 to 11. So what I'm gonna do is, first I'm gonna make a sheet called metrics, and this will be basically our static parameters with which we can influence the whole like balancing table. Basically, that's the basis for that. And do say if you have any questions or any suggestions. Also, I'm always like, for me it's always important that these streams are, learning in both directions. If you notice me doing anything stupid, or better methods of doing stuff, then go ahead and leave some feedback. I always want to learn as well. But if you have any questions, of course, why I'm doing something in a particular way, then ask them. And yeah, so metrics, and the one thing would be stops till death. And obviously it's not really death, right? Because blah blah, but I'm for like, because you don't really die in Fireside. It's a non-violent game. Not the entire stick is but for the sake of the math, I'm just gonna use what the descriptors which are most intuitive to me. And I wanted to see, what did we say? In the forest we stay at around 8 places, so I'm gonna just set this to 8 for now. Okay. Then we also have like a starting soul energy. Well, set around to 100. We're gonna probably have to refactor this. You're gonna see this like Excel table magic is very similar to coding, actually, in many ways. Like you're gonna see. You gotta sort of start with some idea and then work yourself forward. So we could already start with this. 1.5 minutes. This is not really relevant in our case. Yeah, and you need like 5 to 6 journeys to complete all quests. So we need to sort of, we need to be able to simulate a couple of journeys and see like how the math turns out for a bunch of journeys. So I'm gonna say number of journeys or journeys to completion. It was 6, right? 6? Yeah. Around 5 to 6. And the thing is, we thought about this from sort of a macro perspective when doing this game design document. But in reality, like the actual math might turn out differently. We like, that's why I'm here today, and we probably won't be able to finish everything today, but we can make a framework in which we can expand. So the first thing we want to do is just very simply say, okay, given 8 stops till death and 6 journeys to completion and 100 soul energy, we know that after a single journey, the soul energy resets back to 100. Like, okay, how do we lose soul energy, or how much soul energy do we need to lose per stop so we basically have 8 stops until we die, right? So this will be soul energy economy, and we will start with it's gonna be basically just a timeline of events. So I was gonna say here, starting soul energy. And now the first nice trick you need to know with Excel is you can type an equal sign here, then go to another sheet and click a value there, and it gets put into here. So now we have this, and we should also probably fix it. So put $2 here. This just makes it so if we put this down here, it's still referenced. This is the same value. So if we copy our numbers around later, we won't have to redo all the references. And now we already need like our first derived value. So these are parameters, and I'd say we do another column here for derived values. And our first derived value would be like the average soul energy loss per stop, or base soul energy loss per stop. Okay. And this is very simply the starting soul energy divided by stops till death. So 12.5. And I think that's actually the value we've currently set in the actual game also for testing. So now we will just do sort of a row of iteration. So we put soul energy loss right here, and or actually let's do it like here. So we have a stop here, we have some soul energy here, and we have loss here. So for our first stop, this would just be this one. Actually, we don't need a fixed reference here. This is one. And for loss, we will, for now, we will just take our derived value here, and we will fix this as well. So, okay. And now what we want to do is in each stop, actually let's start counting at 0. Let's start counting at 0 because it's, I think, you know, you start the journey with like full soul energy, and then you hit the first crossing and you lose some soul energy, and that means you sort of like you lose basically on your first journey. You already lose some soul energy. So once you hit your first actual campfire, you've already lost some. So 0 is basically your home, and then 1 is the first campfire. So let's just expand this and then say here, this is this minus this. And this value here might get a lot more complex later. But yeah, for now, we will keep the loss constant in each stop. And we will just expand both of them down here. And we can see, as we expected, at stop 8, we basically reach 0 soul energy. So this would be basically the most simple way of sort of modeling our soul energy. but that would be boring, right? Like, this is not, there's no interesting like dynamics happening here. It's no choice, right? So the basis of what I would like to model and the basis of sort of the economy we want to have going is twofold. So one, we have collecting items. So we need a new parameter here. So we could do like a base value for now. So let's say default. Like, what does it cost? What does it cost me to take an item? And an item we need sort of a currency for these items. And I think we can just take soul energy. So basically we can say, like, what's the default cost of an item in soul energy? Yeah, so to get one item, somehow you need to pay soul energy. So default item cost soul energy. And this works since, like, this is making basically saying, okay, soul energy is going to be our central resource, which we use for all calculations. And I think this makes a lot of sense because it's basically the only resource in Fireside that the player actually sees, like the only abstract sort of resource. Everything else is like is trading, right? And items don't really have a gold value or anything associated with them. And we also don't have any mana, any HP, anything like that. We only just have soul energy, and that would make it a bit tricky later. But at the same time, it should provide a more focused experience because Fireside is not so much about the economy, but more about the atmosphere. But still, we need this to make a nice experience. So default item cost and soul energy. So we could make this designable, or we could derive this value. I'm gonna just go ahead and say 10 for now. So how do I... it's actually too much. I'm gonna say 5. I'm saying 5 because so we want to provide the player with some opportunities to collect items, because that feels good, right? You click an item, you collect some item, and you get just because you interact with that item, it feels good, right? You get a reward at the end, and since it has a cost up front, it also feels sort of meaningful collecting this item. But it can't be like a single item can't be too expensive, right? There still needs to be some sort of, you need to have some ability to spend, basically. And that's why I'm going with 5 for now as the value default item cost value, but we can tweak that later. So then another important parameter is how many items does the player gather per stop? Like, basically how many items does the player get per stop? And this can also be set, but it could also be derived. So again, we have a couple of choices. We could either use this value, the default item cost soul energy, and the base soul energy loss per stop, and out of that derive sort of a new modified soul energy loss. And I think I will do exactly that, because in the end we still want the player to have about roughly 8 stops. And what we're gonna have to do later is find some sort of opportunity for the player to increase sort of the amount of soul energy they get per stop. But for now, let's just derive it. So we can say, okay, if an item costs 5 soul energy and we have 12.5 base soul energy loss per stop, we can say number or items or received items per stop, and that would be then around this value divided by, 12.5 divided by 5 is 2.5. So if we lose our entire soul energy just for generating items, and an item costs 5 soul energy, then we can receive around 2.5 items per stop. So we basically, we can generate around 2.5 items per stop if we want to have around 8 stops. However, we also have like the walking. We have cost of walking. So that's another parameter. So this will be the default cost of journey. In soul energy. And here, and I'm gonna actually, it's also nice since we, I think, did this constant here. I think if we like cut this and paste it somewhere else, the other file should also update. Yeah, see, this is very nice about Excel. I'm gonna actually save that for now. Let me just, because we've started now going into this balancing theme. Going to go to our project folder. I'm calling this V1 because I'm pretty sure we're gonna need a V2 eventually when we get more interested in or know more about our system. You never, like, the first version of this balancing table usually is not sufficient anyways, but okay. So default cost of soul energy, like default cost of journey in soul energy, we could just also set this to 5, and that means now we can no longer do this, but we need a new derived value, which is like expected expense, I guess, or we need like so. Yeah. It's been a while since I've done a balancing table. Like I've done a few in my life. It's not like this is very extremely new for me, but definitely doing a new one is not an easy task. So now what I'm thinking about right now is the soul energy, the default item cost, and the default cost of journey are sort of expected loss, or are different in that cost of a journey is something you can't really prevent, right? For the items, there you've got an interesting decision. Do I collect a new item, right? Or don't I? Like, do I just leave it for now? And obviously, if you're almost like ran out of soul energy, then you won't collect any more items, because that would mean that your trip gets reset, unless the item you need to collect is something important that you want to take home, because you do get to keep one item per journey. That's also something we have to balance eventually. But yeah. So I'm wondering if we want a more complex model, or if it's fine to just assume for now, like sort of assume an ideal scenario and have have the items. I'm really not sure, because doing the version with where we sort of try to already model player actions, player intent, or player decision making is a lot more complex. But it also might be worth it, but I'm not sure. I think I'm gonna leave it for now. So yeah. So default cost of default cost of journey is 5 soul energy. Default item cost is also 5. So this would be then. This means if we want to stay with these 12.5 base soul energy loss per stop, we would have to expend 5 of these 12.5 already on the default cost of the journey. And I think that's too much right now that I'm thinking about it, but still I'm going to make a derived value for this. So I'm going to say soul energy loss after journey cost, or soul energy budget. Yeah, these values are gonna get more and more. These columns are gonna get bigger and bigger. So this is going to be simply be this. Oh, this minus this. So I'm gonna remove this here because put this up here, because now it's much more reasonable to say we use the 7.5. So instead we're gonna say items gained per stop equals 7.5 divided by the default item cost, 1.5. And yeah, just fix this. Also, always remember to fix your values. So yeah, so this now tells me with our current system, we get 1.5 items per stop. So we can simulate this also in here. So items, and we can say we always start with 0 items. This would be like run with nothing, sort of our simplest case. And we will see how far we actually get today, but later you would also have to model like how this evolves over multiple runs. But we start with 0 items, and then we just say gain here. Also, let's just make group these together with a bit of a boxing. But yeah, that was not very clever, because I need it to be open towards the bottom. Yeah, okay. So gain is just the gain we defined over in metrics, items gained per stop. And obviously I know that we can't actually... Hey, what? Did I click the wrong? No. Hello. Oh, I misclicked. Right, let's do this again. We want this one here. Metrics F4, please. Thank you very much. Obviously, I know you can't actually gain 1.5 items, but that doesn't really matter because there will be items which are worth less than one item. So, for example, an apple could be worth half an item. It's just what that just basically means is that an apple is worth 2.5 soul energy then. And then you could say, okay, you get 2 apples, and that's still fine in this logic. It's just so we... What the heck is happening? All right. It's just so we have some sort of like reference, and we're gonna do the same thing here as we did at the other side. So we're just gonna say just invert it. So this plus this. And then we're gonna expand it all down here. Zack. Zack. Oopsie daisy. This we need. All right. So this now tells me that if we do not trade, if nothing else happens, we start a journey with 100 soul energy and 0 items, and end a journey with 0 soul energy and 12 items. And at this point, we only get to keep 1. So this means, and this is something I have failed to do in the past, and I will try to do better now, because I've told myself I'll be a better designer. We always need to track what exactly the game design and player implications are for a step in the economy. For example, here, I'm not sure how to exactly notate it. Like I said, we're learning together. I'm not perfect at this yet, but okay, I'm just gonna put it here for now. This means that the player gets to choose one of 12 items to take back after a journey ends. That's a big choice. Like, that's a very big choice. Like, if you imagine 12 items in front of you and you have to choose one, oof. Like, usually a choice where you have to decide between 2 options is already very difficult. Like, a choice between 2 options is usually very difficult. "12 choices is too much." And honestly, I think it's even still might be more, because this ratio here also feels kind of awkward. Like, just going on a journey, just going on a trip costs as much as getting an item. Let's open up the game. Like, then again, it all depends on how it's sort of like narratively put, right? And like the cool thing about this table obviously is you could just say, okay, an item now costs less, let's say, or going on the journey costs less. Now we say this 3, now this all adapts, right? Soul energy loss here, and instantly we also get a different distribution here. So now we can say, okay, we have now have 15 items. And we should put an N here, capital N. Right. So yeah, this table is very dynamic, and that's how it should be. Like, it should be easy for us to later go into this metrics tab and then just play around with some numbers and see like how our system adapts and sort of what design implications that has. But yeah. So the easy solution for this is, like I said, there might be items which are more than one item, like worth more than one item. Like if you imagine a crafting system, for example, it's very easy to imagine this, right? You have two apples, and you can combine them into, I don't know, let's say you're playing Breath of the Wild, like this fruit stew. Then fruit stew is worth two apples, and depending on how you set your metric, like fruit stew may be the equivalent of one item, then one apple is worth half an item. Like I already said this, right? And then obviously, if you have an apple and a fruit stew in your inventory, it's an easy choice, right? I take back the fruit stew, obviously, right? And then if I have 12, but still factually in this mathematical model, I would still have sort of like, well, no, in that case not 3, but 1.5 items in my inventory, right? And because of the fruit stew is worth 1 and the apple is worth a half. But I get to keep more items, so to say, because it was harder to generate. And also, like, basically this is like, hopefully this is not something the player would even think about in Fireside, but yeah, always depends on delivery and so on. Also gonna just quickly protect these values here. Where was this? Here somewhere. Gotta quickly Google this. Zelle formatieren. Here. Yep. Okay, so now we can't, like... Oh, we can, what the heck? What the heck? Why can't I? Okay. Chat, I used AAA as a... Nice. Okay, this too, are you kidding me? I would not like to remove this again. Can't I just lock a single cell in Excel without... I did it earlier with like Google Docs. Why? Okay, whatever. I'm not gonna bore you with this. Um, yeah. So we need to combine items. Is basically it's basically my point. We need some way of combining these into each other. With some really good black tea. And also, like, I really think. Okay, let's do the following. Let's open up Unity and try this actually. Oh, I did something wrong. We upgraded our Unity version recently. Can we please exclude these temporary Excel files from the GitHub repository? Wait, I can just do it here now. Okay, now pull please. Gonna have a large pull. Okay, 17 commits, that's actually not that many. Merge conflict in the git ignore, that's not good. What's happening here? Okay, I would like to have both changes. Thank you very much. Visual Studio is best merge tool, by the way. If you didn't know, Visual Studio Code, sorry. Yep. Now before we push back, let's try to open up Fireside with the Unity version. Oh. Oh, that, ooh. Okay. I'm not sure what's happening here. I thought I had upgraded the Unity version, but apparently I didn't, or it didn't get committed or something. Not good. Yeah, well, we gotta wait for this to import. I shall go back here, and well, I guess we can start modeling some item conversions. So items, and I had some items over here. So these are items. We've got an apple, we've got a rope, we've got no idea what that is. We've got a mushroom, we've got an axe, we've got a teddy bear, and we've got I don't either. Also, don't know what that is. Another mushroom, I think. I think we have some brainstorming document somewhere which says what's going on. Yep, here. I will not leak that one because there's a lot of ideas in there. Oh, it's actually a second mushroom, okay. And some honey. Yeah, this is honey, I guess. Okay. So, name. Honey. We've got, what did we have? We've got apple. Rope. Mushroom. Teddy. Bad mushroom. An axe. We'll put value here. And then we also need like some other like categorization values later. I'm gonna have to look those up. But yeah. Unity has imported. Hooray. Okay, so what I... Ooh. Did this break? The road. Yeah, this broke somehow. Huh. That ain't good. Maybe we need to restart Unity one more time. And if that doesn't work, then I'm just going to ignore that for now. Did I make any changes? No, just okay. This will probably use something to do with the new version and shader graph, yay, because that's the reason we upgraded it, because it was a bug, whatever. Okay, what I wanted to do is I wanted to set the values we just figured out. So I wanted to say default cost of journey 5, go to our config. Default solar energy loss is 5. Solar energy is 100. Default item cost is 5. And I just wanted to hit play and see if I start moving around. Oh, you know what's happening here? Yeah. We added lighting to our game, and this hasn't been adopted yet. Okay. And the sprite ordering is also broken. Yeah, let's just quickly fix the lighting so that we can see something. Okay, I'm not gonna do some random some random, you know, stuff. You know what I'm saying, don't you? No, probably don't. But okay. Not gonna be too artistic is what I want to say. Goodbye. And apply this. Oh no, this, oh okay, oh god, oh please no. Where do we have invalid scripts? It might be that there are a bunch of invalid scripts on the objects and we can't apply this stuff. Sorry that I'm getting so sidetracked. I promise we're gonna get back to ay. Promise we're gonna get back to our stuff soon. Can I apply it? Just apply it here? I should be able to, right? Here maybe? No? Oh god. Here. Post-process volume. Okay. Goodbye. Can I do it now? Maybe? No, still an invalid script. Probably on. So some day object. In here. Effects. That ain't it, chief. Is it in here in the prefab? You know what? I'm just gonna do nothing. Nothing at all. Just gonna leave it like this, and we can go back to our scene and just play a bit. Okay, let's try to imagine, actually playing the game, right? So we're here, we go here, blah blah, we collect some items on the way, click click click, cool, I got some items. We're here, I arrive, okay? Here's some NPCs. Oh, this guy wants something, let's find out what he wants to tell me about. Interesting. Okay, cool. Let's do some trading. Oh, he doesn't have anything to trade. Unlucky. What about you? Do you have something? Yes. I would like to have this, and I give you this, this, and this. Confirm. Cool. Thank you. Go to rest again. Next part of the trip. Go here. Ooh, an event. Do we want to challenge this guy? Oh, he seems evil. Don't want to challenge him. Go here. Next stop. Here, again. Oh, this guy has more to tell me. Blah. Cool, interesting. You have something to trade. Oh, look, he's still got my wood. I traded him last time. Maybe give me the helmet. Oh, this is worth a lot. So now in this case, if we do this, then I would expect, okay, wow, I get some soul energy back. Wing, cool. Replenished my energy, rest again. And now what's missing here is, okay, more opportunities for me to harvest some resources. And yeah, then we should be getting more NPCs at the map screen, but that's not really happening. But we can rest again. This was now what? 4 stops. This was my 4th stop. So by now my soul energy should start to be getting lower. Like 5th stop, blah blah. Do the same thing again. Trade, talk. Maybe I got a quest. I gotta go somewhere. Maybe I already got that earlier. So I gotta, I don't know. I gotta go back here still and deliver the letter to their uncle, their long lost uncle. But I'm already on my 5th stop, so I still need to somehow make it over there. Because 1, 2 more stops, 3. Okay, that would be exactly what I need. So why not? Let's go on the journey again. Yeah, so to me, it felt like in this case, if I try to imagine like this balancing in my head by just clicking through the game, that this parameter here, stops till death 8, may be a bit low. I mean, we will have a lot more content, and maybe I just simulated I didn't simulate the campfire correctly. Like, what were you saying in the game design document? Our intention is to around 1.5 minutes. So let's just pull up a stopwatch. And I mean, waiting is not, in terms of engagement, is not the same as actually playing a game, obviously, because ideally you're in flow and you forget your sense of time, blah, blah. But let's see again. So I start here. We go on a journey, collect some resources. Oh, an event interrupted me while collecting resources. That's also still something we need to implement. Not sure if we already made a card for this. Don't think we made a card for this. So we want to reduce or stop the travel pace while harvesting items. So we walk here, and now we're at the Fireside. Oh, here, look, here's some interesting travelers. Cool. What is going on here? Oh, this guy has something to say. He looks interesting, and I need to start my stopwatch now. Okay. So we arrived. So okay, we talked to this guy. Interesting. Maybe I got a quest. Okay, cool. Interesting. Let me just quickly check my inventory and my log. Right. And we left the Fireside. That was not on purpose. That was only 30 seconds. That was very short. If we want an average time, that was, we had an interesting dialogue right off the bat, right? Again, go here. Okay, we arrive at the fireside. Go. Okay. Oh, this guy's interesting. Let's click on him. Oh, cool. Mm-hmm. You have something to trade for me. Let's do that. I don't need this wood, right? I just chopped this wood. Oh, and also maybe I keep one and put it into the fire. So okay. Yeah, also this action economy at the fireside is not another thing we have to balance and model. But I want 2 of your hammers for 2 of my wood. Confirm. Cool. We did a trade. Let's talk a bit. Click the speech bubble. Blah blah blah. Blah 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 blah. Blah 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 blah. Okay. Interesting. I don't think we would have a dialogue which goes much longer than that. Surely not now. So I now feel like I already have to push rest because I've talked and traded, made some quick decisions. May just be my way of playing and imagining this, but I feel like in this case we're staying at a fireside way shorter than I would feel right now, but maybe it gets better with the music and the just generally slower pacing, interesting characters. So I'm just gonna wait till 150 has passed. $130? Was it 1.5 minutes? I'm not sure. Yeah, 1.5 minutes, not 1 minute 50 seconds. Okay, rest. This was my first journey. So next place, go here. Blah blah blah. Okay. Interesting. Okay, interesting. Okay. Next fireside. We trade again. We test again. Reset. Start the timer again. Here, Tim, take one of my hammers. Interesting. Huh? Okay, that doesn't really matter. 22 seconds. We stay here again. We're opening the inventory. We're dragging wood into the fire. We're talking to people, we're making some decisions, we're trading. Maybe this guy needs one item this guy has, and we're trying to figure out how we can sort of mediate that trade. Maybe we're waiting for some, item refining to finish or something. Yeah, 1.5 minutes is really long for this screen. Like, and that's like the lowballing, right? That's the lowballing thing. Or not the lowballing, but the average. It should be up to 3 minutes per screen here. And it's done. We rest again. And we go, right? This was our second journey, right? Third journey. Okay, and now now I'm getting more of why, like, of this value here, stops till death in the overworld, makes more sense to me now. Because, it feels more meaningful if you invest more time. Sorry, I need to reset the timer again. Interesting what you have to say, good sir. And, there could be a choice in here, and we could talk again. But 1.5 minutes, oof, it's long. It's really long. Can I finally give Tim some of my hammers? 30 seconds only. See, like, okay, I mean, if I'm actually trying to evaluate, okay, what might Tim need? What does he have? Where are the items? Like, what are the items I might want to give him? Then, sure, I can spend some more time here, but it's never ever like. See, I'm so long talking to you right now, and it's not even been a minute yet. We really have to put some thought, game design, like some more thought in exactly, like precisely how this minute will be filled at this campfire. Because I think from prototyping this like by myself, I think you will just very quickly make a decision here in the trade. Like, click something which you think makes sense and then click confirm. Right? Okay, that was 1 minute. Rest. And go here again. Let's go down here. Fourth stop now. Interesting, now the player didn't even appear. Still open my inventory though, lol. Let's get a bit more realistic by playing the music. So I'm waiting, I'm trading, I'm talking. It does make a huge difference, doesn't it? But I want to interact out here somehow, right? It feels like to me... So we were on journey number 4. Rest. Music slowly changes, like the transition screen needs to be a bit slower and stuff, but yeah. Go here again. Obviously we're not going in a circle, but we're progressing. Next stop, and next 1 minute 30. This is stop number 5. And in case you just joined, what I'm doing right now is I'm trying to sort of gauge the feeling of having 8 stops before you get reset back to the beginning in our sort of roguelike game. And trying to, feel out the general feeling, because we planned around 1 minute and 50 on average of content in each Fireside screen. I'm just using a timer right now because the content isn't here yet in the game yet, to sort of get a feeling. And like I said, obviously in an optimal case the user would be in flow and they wouldn't even notice this, but still I think subconsciously, you know, the weight of actually being reset, losing your soul energy, and noticing, oh shit, I need to make some good trades, I need to somehow stay alive, basically, is starts basically with time. Like the more, yeah, like it gets impact by the time you used. Okay, go to bed. Harvest some resources, go here. We do have stuff in our inventory. Go to the campfire. This is stop number 6, I think. Oh man, chat, is it stop number 6 or stop number 7? I think it's number 6, right? Getting a feeling for now about how long this is. Okay, stop number 6 over. Stop number 7, let's go back home. And this is now when I would really start feeling, okay, shit, if I don't have any soul energy left basically anymore, maybe I can make a good trade to get one more stop, maybe even like a bit of, yeah, definitely like a bit of sort of panic, or at least, well, like I said, the framing is that you don't die, but because you get to keep one item, but I'm really seeing how can I combine items to take back with me and to make it so, yeah, the value basically I get from my journey for myself is the most efficient. Like this is definitely a subconscious process, at least, that would be going on, and I guess for a lot of gamers it would be conscious. Because that's just how economies work in games. You obviously want to optimize for yourself, not just in games, everywhere. So actually that's an interesting decision to see, like, is the decision I'm making right now to, like, am I just accepting that I will be transported back in one's next stop, once I like complete my next journey, or am I actually optimizing to, like, get as far as possible? It really depends on the current quest I have and the current objective. But let's just say, but yeah. Okay. So this next one will be my last stop, and afterwards we will sort of have reset. Talk, maybe have some, we're having some deep and interesting dialogue right now about the meaning of life. I don't know. Blah blah. Blah 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 blah. It's like the Celeste voice lines. It's interesting how this waiting effect already has sort of a calming effect on me right now. Like, that's like part of the vision for Fireside, definitely, right? To have this calming, relaxing atmosphere where you get to experience sort of a moment of peace, right? And definitely, like, when filling this Fireside screen with content, it will be important to also have sort of slow, long animations, which, yeah, prototype these 1 minute 50. Okay, and now I go rest, and now click on the next one, and sort of on this path I whoosh, get set back to my house, and my journey is over. And that was 8 stops basically till death, with the average time we were planning here. How did that feel? Did it feel like a journey? Did it feel like we can do something? It did feel a bit like that, I think. I'm gonna make notes. Today is what? Today is the 22nd. Tried 8 stops till with, what was it? We had no events, no resource gathering. Felt a kind of like a journey. So like the basically the time we invested, like made the beginning feel a bit distant. I'd say after like four campfires, the beginning started to feel distant. Just right here that it was me doing this. Yeah, so I have a bit more confidence in this value now. Put this in the back. And so yeah, so basically what then happens in those 1.5 minutes is we make these conversions and we gain some soul energy back. So that would be the next thing to model here. So we have soul energy loss. Oops. No. But we also will have soul energy gain. Like we will be able to convert some items into soul energy, and even at a sort of for us positive rate. So we will be able to say we gain some soul energy, but we need to sort of trick the player a bit, so they think. So basically, so we threaten less of these stops, which I think we can do because, like I said, already after about 4 stops, the journey started to feel like sort of distant. Like, assuming we managed to actually fill the 1.5 minutes of the campfire with content. For me, it already started after, like, because that's like what, 6 minutes, right? The beginning, and just the way it played right now, the beginning started to feel a bit distant. So if theoretically, if you do nothing, yeah, since the journey, or the beginning of the journey started to feel distant after 4 campfires. Okay to threaten quote unquote death after 6 campfires. And obviously, just as also a disclaimer, you know, what you're watching right now is just the process of sort of trying to figure out some baseline with which we can start and with which we can start testing. None of this in any way like replaces real testing, but you don't want to make stupid mistakes when doing your first tests, and that's why we're doing this right now. So okay to threaten death after 6 campfires. That would be my conclusion, and yeah. And that's sort of our basis for the next part of the balancing. But before we do that, I gotta go to the bathroom, so let's do a quick break, and I'll be back in a second. See you in a second. I'm back. And yeah, what this means is that we can say we actually go negative. So we can go negative with our soul energy loss, but not quite. Well, how do we model this? How much soul energy do we gain per stop? And two possibilities always, by the way. We can put it as part of the model, or we can just hard code it in our balancing. But first, do this. And but let's say we say so let's say we gain like 3 soul energy back per stop, and that may be that we don't gain any soul energy for 3 stops, and another fourth one we gain 12. So that doesn't really matter for the modeling. It doesn't matter for gameplay. It matters a lot for the game feel, but for now, for us, it really doesn't. And what this does is this increases our soul energy budget after start of journey. So, and it decreases our default cost of soul energy for journey. We still need to lose 12.5 soul energy on average, though. So we can increase the item cost, I guess. So I'm just gonna... Oh, can't I? Yeah, gonna move these down here and say adjusted soul energy no, actually, no, I'm just gonna use this here, I think. Just say we add this back into it. So now we're already gaining 2.1 items. So we somehow need to lose items again. Because, yeah, gaining more soul energy means gaining more items, means gaining more soul energy again. So one trick you can do is actually increase the amount of soul energy you lose per step. Don't think we had that in our GDD. Oh, we actually did. Okay. Yeah, so we say we use 12.5, but what we need then is sort of a formula which increases this over time. And what we want to do is we want to sort of set a target. So we're gonna have two curves. Let me just show you and show myself also. So we're gonna have, if this is our sort of graph, and we have here soul energy, and we've got time down here. Just do this. Then we will have sort of one curve which will be the like normal like depletion rate. And it, oopsala. And it should probably look something like this. Oopsie. Is there no Bezier curves here? Okay, whatever. Then just use the brush. So probably looks something like this. And at the same time, we need to have some sort of way of extending the curve. So flattening the curve. Ha ha ha. So here could be like 6. And back here is somewhere like the absolute maximum, let's say 10. be 2 more than we went earlier. And what we want to do is basically make this area in here, which I'm gonna color orange. Is basically controllable by how the player trades their items. So this gain field here basically and this loss field here can extend or shorten the journey depending on how efficient you do. So I think for each stop we should model a trade. So, or if we should model a number of trades maybe even. Oof. Oh, there's a lot of potential for complexity here. Yeah, for now let's just say because it also depends on the environment and the sort of state of the NPCs. And obviously we could have a huge table which just says bunch of NPCs and their sort of preferences, needs at a certain point in time for an item and how they value that item, and that is then how they like the efficiency of the trade and thus the soul energy you gain for a concrete trade. But we need, for now at least, you eventually you need to have that table. You need huge tables like that. But for now, we need something to basically just have it again a jumping off point based on these just small and very non-descriptive tests we just did. I'm trying to think if we can make it like a little bit dynamic, because what we could easily do is just say trade, right? And we could just put a value here, 0.9, and just say this is the efficiency, and that means we lose an item and gain some soul energy at an efficiency of 0.9. So we can just say, okay, the cost of an item times 0.9, that's how much soul energy we gain for that trade, right? So if we trade an item more efficiently, then we extend our journey, etc. But I'm thinking if we can somehow easily make this a bit more responsive and dynamic without like completely exploding the requirements towards content, but I'm not finding any good ideas. But my entire brain is kind of empty at the moment. I'm somehow really tired. Okay. Hmm. Okay, no. Let's just run with this for now. So we can say the loss is one, is just one. So we say if, then it's German, when this is greater than 0.000, then it's 1, else it's 0. And this we just expand on here. And let's just say, nah, that's fine for now. And then the gain of soul energy is the trade efficiency times the default item cost. Right. And we just fix this. So if I put 1 here, then we get 1 and we lose 1 item. So now we just need to subtract this here. Zack. And then in here, put this down there. All right, so how many trades do we make on a journey? I'd say we make, actually, yeah, number of items. Oh, actually, we don't actually lose items. I just realized when trading, because we're trading, right? So yeah. But let's say we don't make any trade here, we don't make any trade here, but here we make a trade, and it's a pretty efficient trade. We say we get 20% efficiency from that trade. So expand this down here. 1.2 efficiency from that trade. That means the cost of the item we paid for to get the item initially, from our trade we managed to improve by 20%. So that's basically what traders do, right? So I'm going to, can I add a comment here? Then again, probably we should be, like, maybe the first 2 campfires we aren't trading, but afterwards we should be trading at most campfires, maybe even achieving more efficient trades. So like, and already we can see that the soul energy we have is starting to rise pretty drastically in the end, yeah, because we got some good trades in. And I guess we need to increase the number of stops here and increase all of this down here as well. No idea what Excel did here. So if this was our last trade, then yeah, we can go 13 stations, but I'm just gonna say we keep like trading like 1.1, 1.2, 1.2. Should have probably automated this as well, but yeah, or parameterized it at least. So what's this telling me? It's telling me that in order to have actually our target of 8 stops till death, we need more energy loss. So we have a base energy loss of 12.5. We have a soul energy budget after this, and that means either we add another sort of parameter, sort of through events. That could be one possibility. And yeah, I'm just going to do that. So average event-based soul energy loss. And then again, we also want positive events, and I'm not sure yet from a game design standpoint if those shouldn't balance out, depending on like the sort of world we want to portray, right? So like it is a wilderness, like Fireside. It's an interesting point, which we haven't decided on yet. We will see. So yeah, but I mean, in order to compensate sort of for the soul energy we're losing just constantly by traveling, we need to gain events, but gain some energy again, or lose some more energy. But we still have this. We still have this tool, which is basically the increase of soul energy loss. And I don't know if you know Wolfram Alpha, but it's a very useful tool. Where you can just say put a formula. For example, what do we want? We want like a value, like let's say 100 minus, and then time increases. So we need an integer, and 12.5x. So this is 0 after 8 iterations. So if you then hit enter, then you get a nice curve. Oh, times x. From 8.8. What? Should be 0 at around at 8. Can I please see this also changed. Like I said, I haven't done this in a while. Okay, yes, can I please plot this? We need to put plot here. Hey, this is what I was looking for. So you can see here, this would be like sort of this linear, not regression, but this linear just fall off from 100 to 0, right? And now we can start playing around. For example, if we say times x squared, then suddenly this gets a lot more drastic. Right, we get a symmetric variable because we're not only interested in the right side, but this has more of the shape we want. But at the same time, we still want our target to be around 8-ish. So not gonna use exactly an exponential formula, but we could use like a Pascal's rho. Let's try the following. Let's do like 1.25 or something. Yeah, it's a bit too steep. 5 is probably too extreme still. It's getting more in the range of what we want. Actually, maybe we could go one further. Sort of like this. Right, and now what we need to do is, if we have a formula like this, we can now say, okay, what's the gain we have, sort of, so we can sort of test where we go below 8. So if we go back in here and we go into our column, and for now we've assumed this, we can just sum this row here and see how much solar energy we're gaining. Currently is 48. So I'm just gonna put a 148 in here and just see where we hit 0 here. And it's still a lot. Yeah, it's still too far to the left. So we're gonna reduce a bit, 1.45, and just find some interesting number. Like can't I see the 0, the points where this gets 0? No. Like, I mean, I like the shape of this one more, like in the scope where we were working with, the way it fell off. But it's not like, it's still too extreme for the purpose we've been doing. I mean, we can always, you know, modify our trade efficiencies, but like having real small values here isn't good because those are hard to balance. Like, you still want somewhat decently sized values. I mean, the thing is, you know, going really low here just makes the curve ugly. Although this would be sort of more in the vein of what we're going for. Okay, let's just go with 1.65, this formula for now. So what we basically say here is that our loss is not constant, but that it is metrics to the power of, actually only, no, well, yeah. Wait. Metrics times x, so times this times this. Hello. So x to the power of, what did we have? Let's just make it a metric. And then just put it down here. And oh yeah, we need the derivative of that. Oops. So could I have a derivative, please? Okay, people, maybe we got a bit too fancy. Maybe we need to do a different approach. I really, for some reason right now, I really don't understand why for x equals 6 we're getting 62 here, because if we look at the graph, looks like 116. And the value before 116 should be 93. 116 minus 93 should not be 62. And this way, it works better. Okay. So I still don't quite get it because because we didn't have the sum before. Yeah. The issue is that if we do it like we did it beforehand, this loss here is only the difference, right? So, and if we subtract only the difference, then we are only subtracting. So dumb. We are. I hope I can remember to cut out a lot of the pain, YouTube. So, welcome back. It's, we only cut out the difference. So basically, we said if we're taking this value here for x equals 4, right? And then we are subtracting from that the difference between 2 and 3. So only this small area here, right? We're basically saying is we are taking this and then this here. This is our y and this is our x, and we're saying y minus x. But that's not correct, obviously. We need to go all the way down. And now we're doing that, and now it actually works. Great. So, okay, so now we can see how our soul energy loss increases over time, right? And it's not by a huge margin, it's by a reasonable margin. And we can see, okay, if we make trades with a certain efficiency at certain points, then we can try to extend our journey. So for example, right now, we have 0.61 soul energy left after seven places. So if we get another like efficient trade in here, then that did absolutely nothing, but you get the point, right? You get the point. We can try to, and if we, like for example, if we do no trades at all, then for sure we should KO earlier. Oh, and now it's, yeah. Wait. Like, oh, actually. Yeah, no, then we KO'd one. We KO'd one station earlier. Almost, yeah. So after 6 on our way to 7, we KO'd. And we could try to play around with this value here. See if we go for 1.2 here. If that makes it a bit more interesting. Again, KOs after 6. Almost gets to 8 with this sort of, I'd assume, like good trading. Like, and then for here, now we can see like the increase in soul energy loss is barely noticeable. So I think 1.25 is a decent increase, although we could go for something way larger. and say items we get are more valuable. So I think this we actually don't need anymore. Yep. But say item is worth 10. But basically this was too much, so let's say 0.35. Still, like, the beginning is a bit steep. We basically, what we want to do now is we want to shift this curve backwards. And we could do that by subtracting from x. So we could say like minus, I don't know, 3. And we have to put this in brackets, otherwise math won't work. Oh, sorry, plus 3. No, wait. Oh, so I want to say, please use shift back. So if I, to our current x value, add a constant 3, for example, then exactly, then the curve shifts back, yes. So now what we need to do is we need to subtract, we basically need to subtract this value here. So let's just call this v or something. V, let's set v equal to 3. And then we need to subtract again and say basically for x equals 0, so for v to the 1.25, 12.5. So we want to say 12.5 times v to the power of 1.25 point, not comma. Exactly. So exactly. So now what we can do is we can basically shift this curve backwards, right? And if we do a high value here for v, it almost gets linear in our sort of view, but it's not really linear because you can see the x-axis is like way lower scale, and we can even, yeah, if we do it negative, then it won't work because the imaginary numbers. Or yeah, but yeah, we can sort of increase the tilt of the curve in the beginning like this. God, I'm really rusty with all of this balancing math stuff. I'm sorry, guys, that you have to, and girls, obviously, that you have to sit through this. Oof, oof, oof. But it's the reality of game development, and that's what we want to show here, yeah. So in a way, why did we do this? It's because here we have a quite strong increase in the beginning, and it sort of flattens out then towards the end. But if we say we like add this part to the formula, so we say this is our power here, and this is our x, so we need plus matrix C9 like so, and then also here subtract the same thing again, but without the x value. And then say here, is this maybe our shift back? It's 3. Then we need to copy the entire formula over here and use a5 minus 1 here. Actually don't need these brackets. Right, and now we start with a loss of 26 and pull this down here, and as you can see now, we are gaining, like, we are starting with a more like reasonable sort of starting curve, right? And yeah, in our difference. So maybe now we need to decrease it again a bit. Maybe let's say, I don't know, 2.8. Start with 22. Still go below 5 at a way too early state because we are making our trades. So yeah, reduce this even more. We could also try to put a 2 here instead. Oh, not solar energy gain, sorry. Shift back, put a 2 here instead. Should still be decent. And then reduce the exponent even more, like, I don't know, 1.22. Start with a loss of 18 now. I'm just gonna screenshot this quickly. When we wanted to do v equals 3. Yeah, now we can see, okay, we dip under 7, like go under negative solar energy at around 8, which is kind of what we wanted. But yeah, if we increase this, all of our other values get decreased, and we can see here this also has an immediate effect on this curve. And yeah, that's pretty much what we want from our balancing table. Stops till death 10 should be around 10 stops then till death, although in this case no, because we didn't expand the formula all the way. Yep, okay. Yeah, but yeah, you can see now here we can sort of set this rough target with the stops till death, and that sort of works in context of our trades. And that's because we adapted our exponent and shift back values to sort of match the default item cost of the trade value here. So if we increase this a lot by, like, let's say 40, then suddenly yeah, items just way take over, because items are worth way too much, and we're trading with a decent efficiency here, and yeah, we're just gaining more soul energy than we are losing. But since items are only worth 10, our system is sort of at the place where we want, and we would now have to leave, like, we would have to like lose a base of 9, around 9 soul energy per stop, in order to, well, no, actually no, that's bullshit. Put this back to 8. Yeah, no, we would need to lose some soul energy per stop in order to eventually die. No, whatever. I'm rambling. Yeah. So I think I'm sort of done for today. Like I said, I'm sort of not, was not the best performance on my part, but like I said, that's game development, and we still managed to finally figure out a decent formula for a base of how we want to apply metrics to our games. So what we know now is that an item cost should cost around 10 soul energy to gather. So that's the basis. So we could say if we click, for example, our, like, if we are, let's say a branch is like considered a default item value, like worth 1, we click our clickable object here 1 time, and we need to click it 3 times to get 3 branches. Then 1 click should cost 10 soul energy, because we get 3 branches at the end, and yeah, that's 10 soul energy. So what does that tell us? Well, probably default branch is not, like, the modifier on that isn't 1. It's way less than 1, maybe like 0.1. So we don't, like, yeah, we don't value it at 10 soul energy. And that's how we can, like, basically define our items now. And we gain 1.55 items per stop. That means if we gain branches, these branches we would be gaining not like 1.55 branches, but we would be gaining 15 branches. We could gain 15 branches per stop, because they have this 0.1 modifier on the soul energy they cost. And we can see if we, like, increase the item cost, then suddenly, yeah, our journeys get longer, because yeah, the items we can trade get more valuable. Obviously, we can only trade items if we have them, so this is still a pretty wild assumption that we can actually make trades here, but yeah, simulating that would be, like, too much for today. So I hope you could get a bit of insight, also see my struggles getting back into the whole math thing for balancing. But that's what you got to do if you want to sort of have a working system for a game, for balancing a game such as Fireside. And yeah, I hope to see you all next time. Bye bye. Have a nice week. See you.